Good day, everyone. This is Miss Lane, and welcome back to my channel, Miss Lane Diaries. Today, I'm going to share with you the tips on how to create use case diagrams. But before that, let us first describe or define what is a use case diagram. So, a use case diagram describes how the system that you're going to create you have been creating is used by a specific user. It is a UML diagram. UML diagram stands for Unified Modeling Language. This language is on the centers of object-oriented modeling. So this is where the UML diagram starts in the use case diagram. There are other diagrams such as activity diagram, sequence diagram, collaboration diagram, class diagram, state chart diagrams for the unified modeling language. But for this lesson, we're going to discuss only the use case diagram. So for you to see its illustration, this is the overview of the UML diagrams. This is the first one, which is the use case diagram. And for each use case diagram, we're going to create an activity diagram. Each use case can have its own activity diagram. For each use case diagram, will have its use case scenario. The scenario is generated according to the use case diagrams. And for the use case scenario, a sequence diagram which shows the different sequences of activities and other concepts in the use case diagram will be shown. And it has also a collaboration diagram which is interchangeably used with the sequence diagram. And in the UML diagrams, the one that illustrates or shows the relationships between objects is called the class diagram. And for each class diagram, there is a state chart diagram which states different states that an object may have during the duration of the system life cycle. Okay, so now let's go to what does these use cases depict. So this depicts a system behavior or functionality in different conditions. It is saying that it is how the system responds to the request of the different users. It is created for a specific business purpose on the system, which depends on the different actors that are going to use the system. A use case diagram describes what the system does, not how it does the work. So what the system could do, what the system could offer to its users, and not how the things are to be done in the system. So the use case model reflects the view of the system of the user outside of the system. It has different symbols. Now let's have it one by one. So the first symbol is use case, this one. And another one is the actor. And this one is the boundary. And this one is the connection. And then we have include relationship, extend relationship. Now let's discuss it one by one. So actors represent a role played by one or more users. It means that that specific system, that particular actor has a role. For example, me, I am a faculty when I am in school. But when I am in a grocery store, I am a customer. So my roles is different for different systems and different scenarios. And it could be a person or another system, a device such as keyboard or web connection. So actor is not just only referring to people, but it could be also other system or device. And this particular actor is the one that initiates an instance of a use case. And an actor is the one that interacts with a use case. which is not only one but for more, meaning an actor can interact with two or more use cases or even only one use case. So actors can be divided into two groups. These are the primary actors, which supply data or receive information from the system. That's why they are called the primary actors. We have also secondary actors, which help keep the system running or provide help in doing such use case. So that's why they are called the secondary actors. Okay, so we are done with actors. Now let's go to the boundary. The boundary is the dividing line between the system and its environment. So use cases has its boundary. Within the use case diagram, the use cases are within the boundary. So it has a line that divides the system and the actors. And actors are outside the boundary in the use case diagram. A use case is consists of an actor that initiates an event. Actually, a use case is an interaction of the actor towards the system. It is an event that triggers a use case and the use case that performs the actions triggered by the event. And this use case is a goal. Example, withdraw money. That is the goal of an actor. For example, it is a customer that withdraw the money. The goal is to withdraw money. Or in the school, we have student enrolls subject. So the goal there is to enroll to a specific subject. So it differs from different systems. The goal differs from different systems, and there should be a triggering event that would cause the use case to perform an event. Okay, so there is what we call another thing, which is the connection. It is an association between an actor and a use case. It depicts a usage relationship. So connection is a usage relationship. Connection does not indicate data flow. It does not indicate data flow, but instead it indicates the relationship or association of in of an actor to a use case. So for example, this one, the customer, this is our actor. It has a goal or interaction or association towards our system that is withdraw money. So that's why we have customer here, withdraw money. So as you can see here, we have the arrows. Usually other diagrams have an arrow if it is the primary actor. So since the customer is the primary actor, we put here the arrow for the withdrawal of money. That is the interaction of the system and the actor itself. Now let's go to use case relationship. So as I said earlier, we have here the communicate that connects an actor to a use case. But there is another one, which is the include. Include use case contains a behavior that is common to more than one use case. So it is the concept of reuse. If a use case is needed by more than one use cases, we could consider it as an include relationship of use cases. The common use case is included in other use cases, and it is represented in the dotted arrow points toward common use case. So here is an example. So again, it is a connection between two use cases. It indicates a use case that is used by another use case, and it links to general purpose functions used by many other use cases. So for example, to be able to do the make appointment use case for a specific actor, validate patient records should be included. That means that you cannot proceed to make appointment if the validate patient record is not activated. So it should be invoked the validate patient records as a part of the make appointment. Validate patient records is not just used in make appointment. It can be used by other use cases. That's why it is a use case that can be included in more than one use case. Another one is pay student fees. Okay, so before you can enroll in a course, you must include pay student fees. You need to pay for you to be officially enrolled. But this one is also included before arranging student housing since your fees is needed. So that's why in this example, pay student fees is included in the two use case such as enroll in course and arrange student housing. So that is the include relationship. Another one is the extend relationship. So extend relationship is different to the include. While include is more of you should have that, you will include that use case for your use case to be done. Extend relationship is different. It extends a use case by adding new behavior or action. For example, in performing medical tests, you can extend perform pathological tests. So that's an example. So you can extend the medical test into specific test. So extends can sometimes be not mandatory. It means that you can perform medical tests but not performing the pathological test. Okay, so next one is the generalizes relationship. Okay, so the generalizes relationship, on the other hand, is one thing is more general than the other thing. It can be a use case to use case or an actor to an actor. So for example, this one, store patient records, paper files. This is store patient records in computerized files. So this store patient records, paper files is the general one for the store patient records, which is computerized files. And for this one, part-time student in general is a student. So that is the generalizes relationship where one thing is more general than the other thing. So the arrow points to the general one. That's why we have like here and we have here. Okay, so this one is an example of a use case diagram for a university registration system. So as a student communicates or is associated with different use cases such as register for classes, and this one is bill student, and we have here the office that provides the billing, and then we have here the instructor for registration of special class, which is an extension of the registration for classes, and identify prerequisite courses not completed, which is also an extension of registration for classes. And here we have the secondary actor registration clerk. So we have here another use case diagram which features include relationship. The supplier reorders supplies, but before the reorder supplies use case can be done, they should include the track sales and inventory, because this is very important. And that's why it's in the include use case, because other use cases might use it, just like produce management reports. So you can say that it is a use case that can be included if it is used by different or needed by different use cases. Okay, now let's move forward to use case specification or the use case scenario or the use case description. So each use case again will have each use case scenario. So a use case specification is a document that documents the business flow. It is a detail of your use case diagram. It depicts the information about the actors, steps that use case performs, and the alternative flows and the business rules. Use cases are visual depiction of the business requirements. So as we have discussed earlier, that it shows how the system is being interacted with by the users. And with that, it should have a clear translation and well-defined requirements in the form of use case specifications or use case scenario. So there are different parts of a use case specification. Number one is the actors. So this one is the list of all actors that interact and participate in the use case, including the secondary and the primary actors. We have also here the description. It is a short description of the use case that is described. And we have preconditions. The precondition describes what is needed to be satisfied for the use case to perform. And we have also post conditions, define the different states in which you expect the system to be in after the use case execute. And the next one is the basic flow. Basic flow is the success flow or the success scenario. It is the list of basic events that will occur when the use case is being executed. This includes the primary activities that the use case will perform. This description of actions and responses are your functional requirements. So with that, since we have success scenario, we have also failed scenarios, and that can be reflected through our alternative flows. Alternative flows is any subsidiary events that can occur in the use case should be listed separately. For example, there are errors that might happen in this particular step, so you are going to make an alternative flow for that. Each such event should be completed itself to be listed as an alternative flow. And we have also special requirements. These are business rules for the basic and alternative flows that should be listed as special requirements in the use case narration. And we have also use case relationships, which reflects the cases of extends and includes functionality of other use cases. So here is an example of a use case description or not use case description, use case specification. So we have here the use case. Here is the diagram, and here is our use case, which is withdraws money. We have the description. The customer withdraws money through an automated teller machine. So we have our actor here, the customer, and we have our precondition. The customer is logged in the system. That means that we are supposing that the customer is already logged in the system. He already key in his PIN and other necessary codes. And then the post condition is the withdrawal is saved and the account is updated. So the basic flow, as I have told you earlier, it is the success steps. So we have here, customer selects withdrawal option through the ATM. The system requests for the amount. So the system naturally will tell you what amount are you going to withdraw or how much are you going to withdraw. And then customer key in the amount and the system will dispense cash and then the system will debit from the account balance. So that is in general, that is what happens in the basic flow of the withdrawal of money from a specific automated teller machine. But what if there will be unsuccessful scenario, such as we have the alternative flow. So for each of the basic flow, there could be a possible alternative flow, just like 3. Number 3, that's why we put it here, 3.1. Amount is greater than the account balance. So the amount key in by the customer is greater than the account balance. So what will happen? So these are the alternative things that should be done by the system. The system displays warning for insufficient balance. So that's what it says. And then if customer chooses continue, then you go back to basic flow number 3. And if it does not choose to continue, well, then the use case will be terminated. So that's why else terminate use case. So that's an example of a use case specification. So here are the things that you should remember. You should always go back to the business specifications to identify the actors, use cases, and the relationships among actors, or the relationships of use cases or associations of use case to the actor. And for each use case, you should create a use case specification. So if you have 5 use cases, so you have also 5 use case specifications. So, how many use cases should I have in my system? So it depends, but it does not mean that all activities you will have a use case. A use case should have more than one step. So for example, if you have customer key in password, that's not a use case because it's just one step. But if we say customer login, so in the login use case, it has many steps. It starts from the putting on in the form the password and the username, and then clicking it, and the system will look if that specific user is in the system. And after that, if there is an error, there will be an alternative flow. So when you create a use case, you should always remember that it has a series of flows that could be reflected in the use case specification. So use cases are meant to capture what the system is and not how the system will be designed or built. So what the system can do, not how the system will be designed or built. So that's what the use case diagram is trying to show us. So with that, I have here my references for your reference as well, that you can go also, or you can search also. So thank you very much for listening to this talk. I hope that you have learned about use case diagrams. So if you have questions and clarifications regarding this tips on how to create use case diagrams, just key in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much and keep safe, everyone. Bye-bye.